What you see behind me may not seem remarkable in any way. It is simply a couple of empty tennis courts, a facility that for the moment is not being used. But let's take a slightly broader look at this scene, and you will find that it is not a lack of children that keeps these courts vacant. It is a far more serious problem than that. It is a lack of interest. And this lack of interest has very grave long-term consequences for all levels of American tennis, from the playground to the pros. Unfortunately, what you are seeing is not an isolated phenomenon. This same scene is repeated with sobering frequency at thousands of public facilities in hundreds of American cities, large and small, north and south, east and west. It is certainly not a matter of simple economics that keeps America's urban youth off these courts. The money needed to equip a beginning tennis player is minimal, and good, well-maintained public courts abound. Why then do these stand vacant? What is behind America's tennis wasteland? Hello, I'm Mary Carillo, and it is my pleasure to talk to you about a bold new educational program that I think will make an enormous contribution to the long-term health of tennis in America. This program involves some of the greatest names in tennis: Arthur Ashe, the Black Tennis and Sports Foundation, and the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy. It will not only help introduce hundreds of America's most promising young athletes to the sport of tennis, it will provide the means for these youngsters to develop their game to the highest possible level, and at the same time develop a healthy and positive learning experience to children of all ages and backgrounds. Arthur Ashe, chairman of the Black Tennis and Sports Foundation and a key figure in the development and administration of this new program, shares some of his thoughts on the subject.
American tennis is suffering from a lack of its former preeminence, and we think that based upon the experience of minority athletes in other sports in the past, America would not have as good a chance of regaining its preeminence without minority athletes as it would with minority athletes. What we are trying to bring about is a joint venture between the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy and the Black Tennis and Sports Foundation. And we are trying to accomplish two objectives. One is we are trying to teach a larger and more experienced cadre of coaches and teachers/instructors who can first go out into the nation's public parks and playgrounds and schools and clubs to teach more kids to play. And secondly, we're going to try to scout and find those promising young kids, the talented 10th, who will be candidates for individualized advanced instruction. And we hope that some of these will emerge as players who will be playing varsity tennis. They'll be engaged in their local USTA excellence programs. Hopefully, who knows, they may wind up winning Wimbledon or the US Open.
Nick, can you tell us how the collaboration between the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy and the Black Tennis and Sports Foundation first came about?
Well, Mary, really was by accident. I love watching sports at night, and I was watching University of Tennessee last May play the NCAA Finals, and on their team were three magnificent black girls doing nothing but controlling the ball and putting it in a hoop. And I said, gosh, if I could have had those girls at a very young age, what a difference it would have made to really maybe perhaps producing some tennis players. And then my mind traveled very quickly, and I said, gosh, I better call my longtime friend Arthur Ashe and get his comment. And Arthur said, Nick, one thing I want you to think about is that we lack coaches, minority coaches, to really get out and work with the kids on their level in the playgrounds and municipalities and some of the winter programs. And it was sort of a coincidence because we already had initiated an internship program for the training of coaches on a 6-month basis. So we thought, well, gosh, if we can intermingle that program with some of the minority coaches, we might have an answer to not bring the Davis Cup back yet, but perhaps getting a lot of boys and girls playing, increase the numbers, and who knows what might come of that.
Everyone seems to be asking where the next great American tennis champion is coming from, but this program addresses something beyond that, doesn't it?
Very well put, Mary. The majority of the boys and girls from the academy go to college. I think that we have a wonderful percentage, about 98% of the boys and girls that have attended the academy for the past 12 years have received a partial or total scholarship. That's something. And we were fortunate to get some players along the way. But what Arthur Ashe and I are trying to do is to first search out the talented athlete, bring that person here along with coaches who understand these boys and girls. Teach them to be people first. The talent of being an athlete's already there.
One of the trends that we have to be fully appreciative of in the minority community is that quite a few of the coaches of football, baseball, basketball, and track teams and programs were themselves players of those sports in high school, college, and some at the professional level. Now, we don't have that in tennis, and that's what's missing.
We're on court at the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy. I'm here with Bob Davis, who is a co-founder of the Black Tennis and Sports Foundation back in 1975, and who's heading up the new outreach program. As program director, what are your duties?
Mary, as program director, I will be responsible for the selection of the coaches, the minority coaches that are going into the internship program. In addition, I have to monitor the curriculum to make sure that it meets their needs, to secure jobs for them, and to monitor their progress in those jobs to make sure that they're having the desired impact on our inner city programs. In addition, my responsibilities will include director of our new facility. Those responsibilities also will be wide.
I'm here with Jim Lair, who's the director of sports psychology at the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy. And Jim, when you look at this new program, what do you suspect will be the profile of the average child going in?
Well, the thing that I will be looking for, and that to me is the most exciting feature of this program, is hunger. How driven is the athlete? That is really the best single predictor of how far an athlete's going to go, is their level of drive, their commitment, their eagerness, their level of motivation. And that, unfortunately, is the factor that's missing from so many kids who come from affluent families, that affluency tends to undermine drive. And what we're reaching into here is a population of kids that we really feel will be much hungrier, much more committed, and much more eager to commit themselves totally to the program.
To play this sport very well, you have to have some self-discipline. You have to learn how to depend upon yourself.
The head drops, the racket's dropped, you're carrying the racket in your dominant hand. What I want you to do, as soon as the point is over, I want you to take the racket out of your dominant hand and drop it to here, and I want you to turn and walk away from the mistake, and I want you to say basically to yourself, no problem. So let me see you do that. You'll take the racket.
It takes character. Those are things you can learn by playing tennis, and we think those are things which corporate America would like to invest in, and investing in a joint venture of this kind.
The Black Tennis and Sports Foundation is fortunate to be working with Nick and his staff on this project. Not only will we be collaborating with a group of individuals as dedicated to the project as we are, we will actually be establishing our center adjacent to an $8 million facility acknowledged as the world's top training center. The interaction between these two programs in terms of education, supervision, extracurricular activities, as well as training, conditioning, and competition will guarantee that our program will be a huge success at a much faster rate than we or anyone could have imagined. The sharing of certain facilities will also prevent unnecessary duplication and save us considerable dollars in construction costs. Nevertheless, we still have a massive fundraising campaign ahead of us. We estimate over $1.5 million will be needed to construct our complex, and that same approximate figure will be needed yearly to fund the training of these coaches and players, the establishment of our regional camps, and the management of particular recreation department tennis programs. We are confident, however, that the corporate community will share our enthusiasm and join our efforts to make a difference in the lives of so many who deserve our help.
I truly believe this is a win-win-win-win situation. With the help of the Black Tennis and Sports Foundation, the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy, and its parent, IMG, we are all in this for the long haul. And I think tennis is going to benefit in general in Florida, in the southern region. I think America is going to benefit and help to regain its preeminence in the sport. I just don't see any downside to this at all. Everybody wins.
The collaboration between the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy and Arthur Ashe and the Black Tennis and Sports Foundation represents one of the most exciting new developments in American tennis in the past decade. It will bring the sport of a lifetime to thousands of kids who otherwise might never take up the game. It can help schools, parks, and public recreation areas, get maximum benefit from the facilities that they already have in place. It will help identify and encourage young athletes who can bring America back to the forefront of professional tennis. And it will enable the corporate community to make an investment in our youth that will pay handsome dividends for years to come.
Life's a challenge, and young people are a particular challenge. And I'm really glad to see that Arthur Ashe and Nick Bollettieri, two outstanding tennis professionals, are joining together with the Black Tennis and Sports Foundation and the International Management Group to help us meet that challenge. This tennis program will provide opportunities not only for juniors and adults and coaches in Atlanta, but to many thousands of inner-city youngsters who deserve a chance to participate in this wonderful sport. I welcome the opportunity to be a part of this exciting and innovative concept.